everybody? Irene here, bringing you Fairytail final season anime review. This was episode 313 titled The Dragon Seed. This was a very incredible episode. One of my favorite episodes, to be honest. I've been hoping for years when this get animated, that it would be animated like this, and I'm kind of happy at how it's going. Just to give y'all a little heads up and spoiler warning, in the future, this fight, how it ends, a lot of people are going to be very, very upset of how it ends, and I'm going to give y'all my explanation on the way I see it and why I had it end that way. But that's for a future video. I will explain how it ends. But we get Irene, Ezra's biological mother, and basically she explained the history of dragons to them. She said 400 years ago, on Ishgard, which is the country they are now, where Fiora is at, the town. Ishgard was the only continent where humans and dragons coexisted. Only place. And there were basically two leaders. There was the leader of the human race and the leader of the dragon race. The leader of the human race was their queen, which was Ezra's mother, Irene, very well known. She was a battle warrior, but she also had magic. I believe she was stated to be the sword princess. And then her partner, the other leader, was the king of the dragons, a red dragon named Basarion, which is the name that she adopted later on. And it's funny because this guy is a red dragon, so keep that in mind. And this is 400 years ago. But they talking, and Basarion's worried because the dragons on the west continent, which the west continent, later on we get information on it, but I don't want to spoil it what that continent is, because we do eventually get to reach there. But dragons from that continent are slowly coming over, that dominate that continent, the humans, and they're gonna come over here to try to mess up and cause war. And Basarion said, look, I'm gonna make sure that none of y'all humans, especially you, die, since I owe your ancestor who saved my life once a favor. And Irene, she was very sweet and humble in her past life, and she was like, you did more than enough, let us fight with you. And he was like, no, I got this. But it ended up coming to a point where he eventually needed her help because they were just outnumbered. It was just too many evil dragons that wanted to cause mayhem. Not to mention, it was stated that there were some dragons in this country that didn't want to coexist with humans, who believed that, they were racist. They would believe that dragons are the dominant species and they should be over humans. So some of those dragons that believed that betrayed Basarion and his group, and they joined the evil faction of dragons. And we get to see some of the dragons versus dragon crime going on. And Basarion comes back from the first part of the war, and he explains to Irene, we can't win and I'm sorry. And she replies, don't be sorry. I have a way for us to win this war. And he gets shocked and he was like, what do you mean we? He's like, and she basically explained to him her idea. And remember, she's telling this story to Ezra and Wendy. And basically her idea was to take some magic from her dragon, Basarion, and implant that magic in herself. So that way she can be a human that used dragon magic. And she did this. And of course she taught other dragons and humans how to pass on the power to, dragons and humans. So there could be more dragon slayers, and they could try to tip the scale of the war and make it somewhat equal on their side, because, they were losing the first part. Unfortunately, that didn't get to really happen, because even though they made some dragons and they looked like they were winning, in the end nobody really wins, because one, a lot of these people ended up losing their minds, because as the title states, the dragon seed is basically the seed of power that is given to you from the dragon. But that seed grows, and once it fully grows in you, you will bloom and you will lose your human body and mentality, and you will become a dragon. And you will usually lose your psyche, automatically go crazy, just bonkers. Which that's actually what happened in the war. A lot of the slayers that were good became dragons and went bananas. But nobody won, not just because of that, but because the Actilogia showed up, and he ended up slaying everybody on both sides, humans and dragons. Now, I want to clarify something because it wasn't really clarified in this episode, but it was, I believe, clarified either in a manga. I'm not sure if it was in the manga or a special interview. But the Agdilogia didn't just kill all the dragons and the crazy humans that went dragon mode. He didn't just kill them all. He killed them all in a human state. Because Agdilogia was a human first, that then became a dragon after this war happened, which was known as the Fire King Dragon Festival, which in the Grand Magic Games, we uncovered the name, but we didn't really know the history of it until now. And I want you to think about it. That Agdilogia, as a human with dragon abilities, basically a first generation dragon slayer like Natsu and Wendy and Gajo, in that mode, just being a regular human, he slayed an entire countryside. 2 countries actually, if you think about it. He slayed all the dragons, then he slayed all the humans with the dragons, and all the dragonoid humans. He slayed them all by himself. He was the only Riptor. This was stated by Irene that he did it by himself. And when we saw him surrounding the bodies, he was in just human mode. He didn't have no dragon parts. He wasn't dragonoids. He was human. He gained his dragon mode after he did all this. And he went kind of cuckoo as well after all this. So, just keep that in mind. Agdilogia must have been one extremely powerful human. I wouldn't be surprised if Agdilogia in his human mode, before he became, a dragon, he was probably as strong as God Serena. Maybe even stronger. And we know God Serena is somewhat of a tie, if he would have been fully alive, to Gildarts. So that's a very, very impressive feat. Actually, no, if you think about it, he's actually stronger than Gildarts, because Gildarts can't even take care of a dragon. So think about it. Him, a human with dragon magic, which makes him a dragon slayer like Natsu and them, he was able to take out full-fledged dragons and humanoid dragons and humans by himself. That is an incredible feat. Very spectacular. But then we get the sad aftermath of the war, and that is Irene herself will be becoming a dragonoid, and her husband, which we get to see as you see on one of my thumbnails, Ezra's father, who was a general of another country, ended up betraying her because he wanted to become king of this nation by himself without her being here. So he basically had her locked up for being a dragon woman. They don't even consider her a human no more, and they locked up. And they didn't specify this in the anime, but in the manga it was a lot worse. In the anime, she states that she was beaten, humiliated, and teased. But in the manga, it was actually a lot worse. They had put her on a cross butt naked in front of everybody. They stoned her, they beat her, they whipped her, and then they beat her in jail as well. If I'm not mistaken, I believe it was hinted that she was also raped. I could be wrong on that part, but it was actually a lot worse things that happened to her in the manga than it was in the anime. They actually censored a lot of it, and I'm talking about a lot. Like, she was... They didn't even give her clothes. In the anime, of course, she had clothes, but when she was locked up, she never had no clothes. Because all the beatings and burn and torture they did on her, that just ripped off, so... But of course, this is anime, they have to, censorship, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, that basically happened to her. And then Ezra's father, which I believe his name is Reg, he comes and he tells Irene with a happy face, your execution date is tomorrow. And Irene, she still had her humanity. She begged him, can this child live? This child is still human. I have put a spell on it, so I wouldn't give birth to it yet. Can you please let it allow it to live? And he drew his sword, and he was like, no, I'm not going to let no child of this ugly dragon woman live. And he went to strike her. And that's why she has that cut there. He actually did get to strike her halfway. But then she went insane and enraged. And this is when she became a full-fledged red dragon queen herself. And she actually ended up stomping on him and killed him instantly. Then all the guards came to fight her, but she just blew them away and she left. And then she ran to the mountains, and she was there for a good couple of years. I think like 100 or two, by herself, trying to find a way to reverse this and gain a human body. until a certain wizard came and reversed her body for her, and he told her, "Oh, you may look human, but you're still a dragon." But she was so caught up in being happy that she looked at human, she really ignored that part. And it's funny because this wizard who did the favor for her was actually Zeref, who she later on gives her gratitude and loyalty to. And she has to go into town and she has to eat. And this is when the biggest flaw of humanoids, dragons, kicked in. Once you become a dragon, you don't get your human body back. And on top of that, you lose all taste in your mouth of human food. They cannot taste or drink any human food. And I believe in the manga, it also states that human food is toxic, if I'm not mistaken, to dragons. So, yeah, becoming a dragon might give you all that power, but it's not worth the things you have to give up. Your humanity, your taste buds. Technically, you have a long immortal life. You outlive all your friends and family. You're always gonna be hunted and hated down and discriminated against. It's just a lot of bad side effects, basically. And she went even more crazy and cuckoo with all of this. Then she came up with a theory of, maybe since I have this child in me, I can give birth to it and enchant myself onto it. But then after that, we skip back to the future, and she tells Ezra, "Sadly, I wasn't able to enchant myself on you like I was hoping to. So I discarded you since I didn't need useless garbage like you." And you see Wendy in the background is crying for Ezra's pain that she's going through, that her own biological mother is saying, "You're trash, you're nothing to me." And she actually screams at Irene, Wendy, and she's like, "How can a mother like you say this to your own child?" But Ezra stuck her hand out and was like, "Calm down, Wendy. It's okay, I'm happy she discarded me. Thanks to this, I was actually able to find my true family." And she went into like this bunny rabbit like costume with dual blades. And that's basically how the episode ended. So yeah, next week we're gonna get Irene versus Ezra. This will be the official battle between them, part 1. And we also get some Natsu stuff going on. Wendy and Happy are naked, trying to snug their body heat on him and trying to wake him up. But his body's just getting colder. And he's in his mind and he's talking to an illusion version of Gaijo and Wendy. And Wendy in his mind states, excuse me for the noise outside, there's a block party going on. But it was stated by Wendy to, in Natsu's mind, the imaginary Wendy, that Anna told them when they were kids, someone named Irene was the one who made the magic for Dragon Slayers. So it's nice to know that even though Natsu's unconscious, his mind is slowly remembering past details and names of characters, which is going to be useful information for later on. And at the same time, we're gonna have these battles going on. Natsu in a battle with himself, dealing with his dragon seed, and then we have Ezra versus her mother, which is Irene. But yeah, this was a good chapter. A good episode. I'm sorry. Really good episode. Really great stuff. Again, the way it ends, people really don't like how it ends, and they say it's complete garbage. But I'm gonna break down why it makes sense for it to end that way. Even though a lot of people didn't like or agree with why it should end that way, but when we get there in another 2 or 3 episodes, I will explain the ending clearly of Irene and Ezra. Because I know in the manga, a lot of people did not like it. But at the same time, Hiromashima did say the way Fairytail ended in the manga, he wanted to switch it up a little bit for the anime as an apology, since he felt that he kind of rushed it and the fans didn't like it. So we may not get all the fights ending the same way. So I may not have to explain what happened. I might just have to explain the difference between the anime and the manga. But we will have to wait for that when that day comes. But yeah, episode 313 of Fairytail final season. Really great episode, great stuff. Can't wait for next week. If I'm not mistaken, I believe somewhere in July, the first Saturday in July, which I believe is July 7th, we're supposed to get a new Fairytail opening made by Bush, which is the same people who made the second Black Clover opening, painted black. So that's gonna be a fire opening if they're gonna make it. All the openings and endings in Fairytail and OSTs are fire, so that's one thing that Fairytail does very, very well. They are in animation, their music is always on point. So, but that's all I have for you guys. Like, comment, share, subscribe, share with your family and friends. Give this video a like, follow me on Twitter, link me down below. Tell me down below what you liked and didn't like about the episode, and How do you feel about Irene and the things that she went through? Do you think that she's justified for going back crazy and becoming the person slash mother that she is? Do you cope with her, or do you go against her? How do you feel about the Agdalogia, knowing that he ripped a whole war apart and he became the Soli Riptor slash survivor, which was stated before in the Grand Magic Games? This time we got more clarification. What are your predictions on Wendy and Ezra versus Irene? What do you think is going to happen to Natsu? Is he going to be okay or not in his situation? Which needs to be clarified a little bit more. But like I said, that's all I have for you guys. Tell me down below your predictions and thoughts. That's all I have for you guys. Peace out.